All right, here we go. Let's see if I got that set up right. I think we do. All right, so welcome everyone. I'm getting a lot of requests for another in the bag, and it is early here. I'm currently still living in Minnesota. It is February 11th, 2023, and I just kind of wanted to do what I think is going to be my bag. This will probably be a one of two for 2023. So let's go ahead and start it off with our drivers. So I have fallen in love with the Scorch the last 2 years. I don't have a huge arm, and so being that it's an 11 speed with 6 glide, I've really leaned on it. This is my first run. This is in Z plastic. Flies really great. Put this on really wide banking left-hand turns with a baby hyzer around just dogleg left holes. Works perfect. It's great. Skips a lot more than the rest I have. Nice little Ghost Stamp Tour Series, little Alexis Tour Series here. Had a lot of these. You know, I'm not super attached to these, but once they break in, they start feeling a lot better for me. And if I gotta take an over the water shot and risk it, I'm gonna be risking it with one of these. My favorite so far is gonna be the Ledgestone 2022 Swirl with the bottom stamp Tour Series. These feel perfectly broken in. Absolutely gorgeous. Lots of swirl. I got a lot of different colors of these. I think they only released something like 56 of them online on Ledgestone's site. I actually played Ledgestone this year, and I hit up all my card mates and a couple other people there. I grabbed about 5 of them from my card mates or their buddies that were playing, because these were a player's pack item. It really feels like if you were to take your ESP and you were to take ESP FLX and blend it. ESP FLX, I have one of those. Matter of fact, I was just playing today in the snow, and this is actually the first ever run of ESP FLX. Got a little ribbon on it, you're playing in the snow, and this feels great too. This will end up making its way in the bag. So this one is perfect. This is a little more bendy. If it's cold out, if it's 60 or lower, I'll be throwing this. If it's above 60, I'll be throwing this one. These are great for when it's cold. Your discs get a lot more stiff. And if you want to have that give, if you basically want a disc when it's, like today we were playing, it was like 32 degrees. If you want a disc at 32 degrees to feel like a normal disc is going to feel at 60, 70, 80 degrees, that FLX really helps. So I'll actually be bagging 4 Scorches. But these are by far my favorite. So if you like a Scorch, go on eBay, pay whatever they're asking, grab yourself probably 2. First run flash, I have 14 aces, been playing 15 years, 9 of them are with a flash on sidearm. So nothing special, Z flash, first run. Disc has been around longer than I've been playing. It's one of the first 3 discs that Josh Sappenfield, which is who is responsible for getting me into the sport, gave me. He gave me a flash, he gave me an old bar stamp Buzz in Z, and he gave me a like a Pro D Challenger. Flashes and Buzzes are great. My opinion, Challengers, kind of trash. A Pulse. This is the 2022 Ledgestone Pulse. I have a lot of older ones that are really nice. I'm just beating this in, so it can be something that I'm a little more comfortable throwing. I have my old Pulse that I've had for like 13 years, and I just didn't want to lose it. It has a chunk missing out of it already. Thankfully, Ledgestone did a Big Z run of these. I love Big Z plastic. It breaks in really easy, and being that this is my go-to stable driver, once again, it's only a 12 speed. My arm speed isn't a lot, so having something that's 12 speed, it's like 12.503 is what these come in at. Awesome, absolutely awesome. I'm excited. You're going to see some Lone Star stuff this year. I like Lone Star. I got all the Lone Star plastic I have is going to be in Bravo. I kind of wish I had gotten this one in Alpha, but this is a Warbird. It's a 12.6 -1.3, and feels great. Got a lot of dome to it. People seem to be a huge fan of the Warbirds. Nice, pretty stamp. I love blue, and I love purple. Those are my 2 favorite colors. And I like hot pink. I'm trying to make a cotton candy bag. So hot pink and light blue mostly. My other stable driver is a 13.5 -1.3. So literally this is, the nuke is 1 speed higher and 1 less glide. So I need the extra glide because I don't have the arm, and I also need lower speed that I can actually throw because I can't appropriately throw a 13 speed. However, if I need a crazy meat hook, if I'm gonna throw it and want it to hook hard, I'm gonna be going with the nuke. I haven't thrown the Warbird yet. I'm gonna be going down with some friends. I live in Owatonna, Minnesota right now, and it's about an hour south of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And we're gonna be going down to Des Moines, Iowa. And we're gonna be playing Ewing, which is one of the courses you play if you're AM for the Des Moines Challenge, the True Bank Des Moines Challenge every year. So that's my favorite of the 3 courses for AM to play, and definitely gonna be playing that challenge this year. So look for my score, stay updated. But interesting, something new, you know. Big Z Raptor and a Z Raptor. So I had to drop out. It's a long story. I had to drop out this last year of the Des Moines Challenge. Misinformation. I'm gonna say it was on my part. The tournament director was a great guy. Made sure I got my players pack and I was able to go home. I showed up to the wrong course, like only 15 minutes before I had to tee off. It would have taken me 45 minutes to get to the other one. I would have taken between a 20 and a 24 stroke penalty for missing a bunch of holes on my card. So I just dropped and went home. Looking forward to playing it this year and kicking ass, taking names. So beautiful. I actually have a twin of this one, same stamp and color. That's back in Texas, and one of my tubs with my dad. It's a nice big Z Raptor. Big Z is just so comfortable, and this Z one just feels amazing. I'm more of a Z or Big Z fan. Big Z just feels like broken in ESP to me, and that's what I'm always looking for. But I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's a money stamp. Yeah, kind of hit the lotto on that one. Love these Raptors. So that's going to be my stable fairway driver. Lone Star, got the Tumbleweed. So none of these Lone Star discs, disclaimer, none of these Lone Star discs I've thrown, except for the BB6. I've thrown here in my apartment, but I haven't actually thrown it on the course. Tumbleweed comes in at a 10.6, -4.1. So really understable, just enough fade to come back so it's not just going to turn over, hit on its nose, turn into a roller every time you throw it. Love the 6 glide. I'm a huge fan of my disc staying in the air. It's going to get me where I need to go. And being a guy that once upon a time used to have a great sidearm, no longer does, but I've mastered the Annie shot. I wouldn't say 100% mastered, but it's my main shot. I love those big S-turn throws, and having a nice understable disc with good glide, it just complements my game really well. It's old Wildcat. It is in Elite X plastic, which was the predecessor to ESP. Feels just like ESP. It's got the old Discraft logo. For anybody that started playing around the time I did, you probably recognize it. Kind of gives me goosebumps looking at it. A lot of fond memories. This is just a fairway driver version of the Flash. The Flash is a 10.5 -1.2. I want to say 10.5 -1.2 or -2.1. Yeah, just a fairway version of the Flash. If I know I want to throw the Flash, but I'm worried about overshooting it with my Flash, I'm literally just going to disc down and I'm going to throw the Wildcat. And just in my head, I'm saying, hey, you're throwing a Flash. You know, I'm not thinking anything different of it. Works out really well. And even though most of my bag is Discraft, I have to give it up. I couldn't throw the Buzz SS anymore. They weren't working for me. They were just turning over and just turning and burning way too much. And then I threw these Johnny McRae fuses. Look at that. Gorgeous, sparkle, pink. Just, this disc is a piece of art. I love the blue and pink. It's exact color combo I want for my bag. It feels great. It doesn't feel too worked in. Just feels like a special run of like Elite Z or something that you might feel. Maybe closer to almost like titanium plastic from Discraft. Great disc, great glide. If I got a really wide banking Annie shot, like really wide, then I'm going to go ahead and throw the fuse. If not, I'll end up just throwing one of my mini buzzes that I bagged. BB6. So this is in Bravo. Like I said, all my Lone Star stuff right now is in Bravo. I felt the Alpha. I don't like the Victors. Victors had that like you're feeling them, and it's got that little little lines on them. You can actually hear your nails going across the disc. Just not comfortable to me. Not saying it's not great plastic. It's just not what I prefer. I really like Lone Star discs though. I like supporting small businesses, and they really kind of conform to that. A lot of great guys. Lived in Texas for 13 months, and the guys there I went back and visited about 9 months ago. Just a lot of fanatics about Lone Star. Everybody's switching over to just Lone Star. I mean, obviously it's a local thing, so they want to support it. They're out of Conroe, Texas. I got to meet the owners of Lone Star, and it's pretty cool. They have their penny putter. Penny is like the name of like one of their daughters or nieces, whatever. They're named after like family members. I think some of the art, I think like the Mad Cat art or something like that. I think that's like from a drawing one of their kids did. It's a really cool family-friendly business. There was a tournament they were hosting in just north of Spring. It was in the Woodlands, and I can't remember what, Stonebrook, or I can't remember what the park's called. Great park. I played really well there because it's woods golf, but this is a 5.5 -2.1, so one more glide than a buzz, and it's got one more turn than a buzz. So it's going to be just a really understable, more glidey buzz, and yeah, I'm looking forward to putting this in the bag. Anybody that knows me knows not a fan at all of Innova. Mako 3s do throw really well for me. There's only about 5 molds that I like from Innova, and I'm always trying to find a Mako 3 substitute. So even though that's not quite the same numbers as Mako, between the Fuse and a Bravo BB6, I'm hoping we can do that. Hoping we can work something out. This right here is the Lone Wolf, 5.5 -3.1. Let me see if I can show you under the rim here. It feels really weird. It's got this like groove. This is, I used to throw a sole. This is going to be a sole substitute for me, a Discraft sole. Show you that again. It feels similar to a sole, but I don't think it's gonna, because it's got the one fade, I think it's gonna stay just a little flatter for me, which is gonna work out. This Bravo feels amazing for mid-ranges. I'm thinking Alpha, or they have this new plastic I haven't felt yet. Thinking Alpha for drivers, and then either that new plastic, I can't remember what it's called, it starts with a T, or Bravo for the mids. But I really like that Bravo plastic. It's got the perfect amount of give. It's kind of like an ESP FLX, but not quite as bendy, and I don't want it to be as bendy because when you're playing in Texas, or I'm originally from California, you have ESP FLX and you're holding it in your hand, and it's like you're just holding a pancake. It's almost useless when you're in the dead of summer. A Zombie. I don't throw a Passion. I've tried to throw Passions so many times. I've tried the Ledgestone Big Z runs. I've tried the first runs, the prototypes, the glows. I've tried every plastic you could try of a Passion, every run of Passion they've ever had. So as a buzz guy that doesn't throw a Passion, it's at a weird spot for me bagging so many buzzes. But a Zombie feels almost identical to a buzz, just with a more narrow rim. And it's a 7.5 -1.1 instead of a 5.4 -1.1. So 2 speed higher, 1 more glide. I literally only get another between 10 to I think 25 feet max with one of these versus a buzz, because I've learned to throw buzzes so well. And buzzes being, in my opinion, the ultimate utility disc. But when I need that extra 15 to 20, when I'm in between throwing a fairway or throwing a buzz, I'll choose the Zombie. And this is a Ledgestone 2022. I grabbed like 5 or 6 of these because this is in Big Z. I love Big Z. As far as I know, this is the only run they've ever done of a Zombie in Big Z. So I couldn't find any on any other site, so went ahead and grabbed some of those. MVP Reactor. My buddy Nate Moss hooked it up with this. He knows I'm a huge Lantern fan. I love DC Comics. I have the Yellow Lantern tattooed on me, the Red Lantern, so I have Sinestro, the Yellow Lantern, Atrocitus, the Red Lantern, Larfleeze, the Orange Lantern, tattooed on my arm, and yet to get a Green Lantern tattoo. That's forthcoming. But it's a glow reactor, and for anybody that's been playing as long as I have, that throws all Discraft, don't tell anybody you're throwing MVP. Dye it, do whatever you got to do. Have your buddy put a Discraft stencil on it if you have to. It literally throws like the old Glow Z buzzes that I grew up throwing. I still have some. They're really pricey if you're trying to grab those old ones. So instead of paying $150, $200 for a brand new unthrown Glow buzz from 2007 when I started playing, you could literally just buy a $22 MVP Glow reactor, and it's just a buzz with like 0.5 more fade. So it's like a 5.4. I think it's like a 5.4 -1 1.5. It's great. So if I'm going to throw a buzz, but I need it to come back just a little more, or if I'm worried about, maybe I'm playing in an event or I'm playing league or something, I'm worried about just yanking it over a little bit too much and turning it, I'm going to throw my reactor. Really good for big ante shot. If you're going to throw a buzz on a big ante, but you need to make sure it comes back, like you're trying to get a nice S line, I totally encourage you buying a reactor. MVP makes good plastic. They're probably tied for my second favorite manufacturer with Castoplast. First run Buzz OS, I only throw the first runs. Love the Z plastic. That's what I'm most comfortable throwing. And I've already aced with one of these over there on the wall. Great disc. I totally recommend it. I throw these. I don't throw zones. So where most Discraft players will throw Zeus's, Zones, Lunas, Fierces, what's the other big one? Passions. I don't throw any of those 5 molds. So ironically, I throw mostly Discraft, but with the exception of the Buzz, I don't throw any of their popular molds. So a Buzz OS is less stable than a Zone, faster speed. And then I have a terminal velocity glass Ursus. So glass is the plastic, Ursus is the mold, terminal velocity is the manufacturer. I don't think they have too many molds to their name, but you see the dome on that. I normally like flatter discs as well. It's got a lot of dome to it, and it is ridiculously stable. It's almost unusable, it's so stable. However, I can throw it on an ante like that on a hard Anheuser line, and when I release, it's gonna it's like watching, it's like you're watching a Star Wars movie and the Millennium Falcon is like evading TIE fighters. It flips so hard it does corkscrews, but it will turn hard left. So if you're trying to get out for sidearm shots, if I'm making a sidearm shot at the basket and I need to throw it on sidearm on like an ante and know that it's gonna end up flat and go to the basket, which is what I like to do, because if you're throwing it on an ante and you're throwing a stable disc, it's gonna twist, and just like how a screw is gonna stick into wood more, disc that's like turning into the chains is gonna grab them a little bit better. So definitely give them a chance. I like those. I like supporting small businesses, and I'm proud to say I throw one of these right now. Now the best part, I used to bag 7 buzzes. My goal this year is to only bag 5, and let's go right here. Let's start here. Big Z. I had to have a Big Z one. These I throw on ante. I have aced twice throwing Big Z buzzes on ante. So I just can't get away from it now, right? Once you do that, it just kind of sticks with you. I typically, when I'm throwing like a harder ante shot, not a wider bank, if it's less than 200 feet and I'm trying to make an ante shot with it and it's a more steep ante, I'm gonna throw a Big Z buzz. If it's a bigger shot and I'm trying to just place really well, lay up with a buzz, I could throw any of these others, but I'll probably resort to either this ZFLX buzz. I actually got gifted this. My buddy Nate Moss gifted me this one. He found it with no name, no number, no identifying marks at all. Happily accepted it. My first throw with it we were playing Dresner, which is a course in Austin, Minnesota. And there's a hole where you're sitting pin high, shooting down. It's a little over 200 feet. There's like the road right to your left. And there's like trees here. Just a nice wooded shot. You're not completely in the woods, but it's definitely not an open shot. And I chained out. I almost aced the first time I threw it. So long story short, he throws like he's kind of the opposite of me, where he throws like 90% MVP and I throw 90% discraft. He goes, "You gotta have that. You want that?" I was like, "Yeah, we'll have to make a trade or do something for it." So throw ZFLX Buzz. I have from the Des Moines Challenge I was at last year a 2022 Des Moines Challenge Z Buzz. Stamp's pretty, nothing special about it. It's flat, feels good. Do whatever I need with it. I have a Haley King Glow Z Buzz. This is one of those resistance discs, specialty ones. They also have a Glow Z Scorch that I love to throw, but I can't justify bagging more than 3 Scorches right now. This is awesome. If I'm going to get max distance with the Buzz, I go to the Haley King Glow Z. I don't know, it must be a mental thing with me. I'm getting real close to the same distance with my Des Moines Challenge, just standard Z. But so far, this is the Buzz I can throw the furthest. So I really like it. I got a tap-in birdie. There's a hole in Austin, Minnesota at Todd Park. It's called Tom's Tunnel. It's a 500-foot shot and from the long tee, and it's just a way more difficult, way less cleaned up version of the signature hole, well, one of the signature holes. I would say the main signature hole. I believe it's hole 3 or hole 4 at Blue Ribbon Pines, which is, I think it's ranked as like number 6 or something like that in the nation. It's in one of the top 10 courses in the nation. They hold the Majestic there every year. Just a great tunnel shot, and I had a tap in with this bad boy. I can throw it really straight. It stays on really tight lines for me. It doesn't bank left, bank right as much as all my other Buzzes, and she doesn't throw for discraft anymore. As soon as she signed another contract, I bought 3 more of them. So I have those in a tub in Texas, and definitely not throwing these near any water. And then there's my favorite Buzz. It's an old ESP. It is just perfectly broken in. This is from probably, I think it's around 2009, maybe 2010, about 2010 when these came out. Feels great. It's really old ESP, so it just feels like, I know in Cali I have friends that'll they'll put some discs in the trunk of their car that are replacements for what's in their bag, so as that, they'll keep them in there over summer. It's like your disc's almost in an oven. You put it in 1 or 2 days a week, and it gets really hot, and it just makes them give a lot. Feels like they're broken in. This is my most accurate disc. I'm a headhunter with this bad boy. Problem is, I have a couple of these that are used. I even have one that's brand new, and they're not cheap. This sport keeps me out of a lot of trouble. I don't partake in any sort of after hours activities that might make me fail a drug test. I don't go commit any crime. I just gotta spend my money on nice plastic, and it's a great disc. It's worth every penny. If you can find one of these, if you have some of these or know somebody that has some of these, feel free to slide into my DMs. And then currently, my throwing putter. What's weird about Castoplast is you'll have a disc. She got another one right here. You'll have a disc. So these are different molds, but this is supposedly K1 plastic, and this is supposedly K1 plastic. This is opaque. This is translucent. This has more give. This has way less give. It's more firm. This is like ESP, maybe that ESP Tour Series, World Tour Series Scorch that I have is what it feels like. And this feels like Z plastic. This is my throwing putter. I get my putters custom dyed. Not doing that with you can't afford to do that with all my other discs, but putters, you're not going to lose putters like you're losing everything else. So here's my throwing putter, and this is my putting putter. These are Bergs. It's a 1102, and these are game changers. This is Castoplast. I love the thumb track. I used to throw soft banger GTs, not the X plastic ones they have now. The soft banger GTs they have now aren't soft enough for me. And once they stopped making those, kind of made me hesitant to want to throw them. And then I was over at my buddy Nate Moss's house, and he let me throw a Berg, and it went in the basket the first time. I was like, I threw it from 12 feet. Grabbed again, went in from 15. Grabbed it again, went in from 18. Grabbed it again, went in from 22. First 4 times I threw this disc and went in the basket. My putting was terrible. It's still not the best, but I save 2 to 3 strokes around throwing a Berg now, and it's just the way to go for me. I call it the coward's putter, because if you were worried about taking a run for it and not making it, and I was normally either running it and way overshooting, or just laying up. Now I can make a run for it every time, and because it has one glide, it's going to sit right by the basket, so I can make a run every single time with it and know that I don't have a huge comeback putt. I can put everything I got into it. In worst case scenario, I'm shooting from 14, 15 feet away, versus I would have been 25 to 40 feet away with other putters. If you're really trying to get a nice spin putt at the basket. The only other substitute for this disc, I've already bought, I have half a tub of Bergs right now, is the Armadillo. Dillo is what people call them, in Bravo plastic from Lone Star. I love those. I absolutely love those. And if Castoplast ever goes out of business, I'm selling all my Bergs and I am buying into Dillos like that. They also make a really nice putter with a thumb track. My buddy Josh throws one of those, and he just does, it's totally changed his game. It's done to his game what Bergs have done to mine. And I do think they have a slightly slimmer profile than the Berg. Berg is about as much disc as I want. It's about as deep as I would ever want a putter to be. I didn't like those challengers that I started with because of that. So yeah, this is my part 1 of 2 for my 2023 in the bag. So stay tuned. Hopefully gonna have some more stuff coming for you guys this year. And go Ace, go throw some discs.